If you're not getting the answer that sounds right or that makes sense to you, or you just don't feel like you have a good relationship with that doctor, screw them. Go see another doctor. Go see a doctor who's saying things that you're like, this makes sense to me. Go see a doctor who you feel like is listening to you, who cares about you, and who sees you as like your whole complicated person with your whole complicated story. I'm Molly Wilvich. I'm a 10-year cancer survivor, throat cancer survivor, and I use they, them pronouns. There were definitely a lot of biases that happened during my cancer. I think I saw 6 different doctors before I moved forward with treatment. Some of them just didn't even, throat cancer wasn't even on their radar as a possibility. They kind of assumed, oh, it's probably strep throat, or tried treating me for strep throat, and I was still taking 12 ibuprofen a day, minimum. And this was every day for months. I was doing that, and still my throat was really sore and wouldn't clear up. By this point, I had talked to my mom about what was going on, and she had looked into it. And she doesn't have any medical background, but was just concerned about her child. And my mom said, I wonder if this could be HPV throat cancer. And I did a little bit of reading on it, and I was like, that actually does seem like the most likely thing here, because I'm young and I sleep with women, and those are kind of the some of the 2 influencing factors, that you sleep with women. That's primarily how you end up with throat cancer, HPV throat cancer. So I went to this new doctor, and that doctor, when I said, this is what I think it is, I think it's HPV throat cancer, he said, oh, you can possibly have HPV throat cancer because you're a woman. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not like a genetic cancer, it's a behaviorally based cancer. And so it doesn't really matter, what gender I am. It's really much more about choices I have made, behaviors I have engaged in. He just did not believe me. He told me it was probably some kind of lymphoma, did the scope and everything. And I finally got him to do a biopsy. And then when I came back in, turns out, sure enough, it was HPV throat cancer, which is exactly what I, at that point, suspected that it was. It was stage 4A cancer, which, you hear stage 4 cancer and you think, oh my gosh, that's, they're done for. And so if we had caught it earlier, maybe it would have been at a slightly earlier stage. I don't know, but it's definitely something that I've thought about and wondered. I think what could have been better would be fewer assumptions on the part of my doctors. We didn't know what it was that was going on, and I think there should be a trust but verify sort of approach. Trust but verify meaning okay, this is what you think it is, but also you're not necessarily a medical, expert, and so maybe we want to take a biopsy, maybe we want to do a scope, maybe we want to, get a little bit more information to see what it is that's actually going on. I think they didn't want to think that there was something big happening, probably didn't want to scare me and thought it must just be like any other strep throat. But it was several months that it took for me to get diagnosed. And I think if they had made fewer assumptions earlier on, that could have been sped up and I could have gotten treated earlier. I think one thing I want doctors and healthcare providers to understand is that we are not statistics. We are whole individuals with whole stories that come along with us and with our experiences. And so the doctor who told me that it couldn't possibly be HPV throat cancer because I'm a woman and that only affects men. Well, that doesn't actually make sense. There's more to the story, and if they have more curiosity about the individual person and ask more questions instead of making assumptions and just looking at the data and statistics, then I think that there's going to be better health outcomes for patients when we're treated as entire individuals.